So here's a particularly evil aspect of the new attack on net neutrality from Ajit Pai and the FCC. This is The Verge. FCC will block states from passing their own net neutrality laws. Local regulations can't make life harder for ISPs. So think about Obamacare, for example. With the Republicans doing everything in their power to gut Obamacare, trying to do it legislatively, and then when they weren't able to successfully do that, because Trump Care had a 12% approval rating, Donald Trump started signing executive orders that are basically giant body blows to Obamacare. You know, one of the things they do is they gut the budget to get the word out for when it's time for Obamacare signups. They gutted it 90%. And so now he's signing executive orders to try to put a hatchet in its side. But the way the law is structured, many states, specifically the blue states, they kind of took it upon themselves to implement Obamacare. And at a state level, for example, they set up the exchanges. Now, in many red states, those states did not set up their healthcare exchanges, their health insurance exchanges. So what happened is, if you're in a deep red state, you had to go to the federal exchange. Well, like, for example, I live in New York. We have Democratic governor, and so what they did is they said, we're going to comply with Obamacare. We're going to create our own exchange. So in other words, with all the shittiness happening in Washington trying to destroy Obamacare, only some of that trickles down and affects people in liberal states. Because even if they were to totally destroy Obamacare, well, we still have our own exchange set up. You see what I mean? So basically what you're doing there is, it's actually fundamentally a right-wing idea. You're saying we're not going to centralize all the power for this program at the federal level. We're going to let the state take their own initiatives in doing it. Again, that's fundamentally a right-wing principle, because typically the left is more for, no, we want universal programs. If something affects somebody in Missouri, it should affect them the same in fucking Florida or New York or Hawaii or wherever. The right-wing approach is, nope, let the states and the cities be the laboratories of democracy. So decentralize our planning, get it away from Washington, and allow the states to do their own thing. So Obamacare, this is one of many reasons why it was fundamentally a center right-wing plan. I mean, it was the old Heritage Foundation plan, which is a right-wing think tank. It's Romney Care in Massachusetts. So think about the decision. Now think about what I just told you about Obamacare and how they're doing the opposite with net neutrality when it's a right-wing FCC. So what they're saying is, no, the states are not the laboratories of democracy. The cities are not the laboratories of democracy. We want to make one centralized decision here in Washington that not only are we going to get rid of net neutrality, we're going to make it so that even if states try to say, no, in our state, we're forcing internet service providers to abide by net neutrality, they're saying, nope, we're getting rid of that. So in other words, your state can't come and save the internet. See, if they didn't specifically put into law that states can't do this, many of the Democratic states would have said, okay, well, we're going to do it at the state level. And then voters in those states would go, oh, thank God that we actually are controlled by Democrats here, not Republicans. And then the Democrats would, of course, win in a giant wave because bloody fucking hell, man, you just saved the internet and kept net neutrality in a given state now, didn't you? Well, they're not allowing the Democrats to come save the day. They're not allowing the state governments to come save the day. Again, this is what happens. This is what the Republicans do when they know they're on the wrong side. Because they also try to do it with, for example, minimum wage laws. There are state governments that are run by Republicans that try to block city governments from passing an increase in the minimum wage. They do these things called preemption laws, which are largely pushed for by the Koch brothers and other right-wing think tanks. They'll do it with maternity leave. They'll do it with paid vacation time. Some cities say, oh, we're going to pass a paid vacation time law for this city. The state government beats them to it and goes, no, you're not. Here, look, we just passed a law that says not only are you not allowed to implement paid vacation time at the state level, we're going to block you at the city level if you want to do it. That's what they're doing with net neutrality. They're saying, sorry, we're going to destroy net neutrality, and we're going to make it so the states can't interject at the last second and save the internet for given states. The biggest sellout in Washington, Ajit Pai. Listen, when this is all done and they destroy the internet, what's going to happen? A few years down the road, there's going to be an obscure article in the Wall Street Journal or New York Times or wherever. It's not going to get nearly as much attention as it should. It's going to be the story of how Ajit Pai has left the government and has been hired by Verizon or hired by any of the internet service providers, and he's getting fucking paid. He's getting paid, bitch. Because that's the only way that this passes. Listen, there is no even theoretical, philosophical argument to destroy net neutrality. Which is why you'll notice anybody who is on the wrong side of this, they have to lie and pretend like they're the ones who are for net neutrality. Have you noticed that? There's not a leg to stand on to destroy net neutrality. That's why over 99% of the comments that have gone to Ajit Pai and the FCC have been, hey, asshole, don't do it. We know what you're doing. And it's so bad that you go look at anybody who's in favor of what Ajit Pai is about to do. What they have to do is lie and pretend and flip the argument and say, no, we're the ones who are in favor of net neutrality. The trick they use is they say, Obama destroyed the internet with his heavy-handed FCC and over-regulating it. But what are they not telling you? That's a lie. And what Obama did is he said, I am going to implement rules that keep the internet exactly the same. If you go to site A, B, C, X, Y, or Z, it's the same speed. They are legally not allowed. The internet service providers are not allowed to slow down speed to any website. And the only way that this passes is all the fucking sycophants inside the FCC, all of them have been bought. And they're all going to get paid. And that shit should be illegal. We need to ban the revolving door. Make it so that's not an option, bitch. It's not an option. You're not going to be able to go to an internet service provider and get $1 million a year for sitting on your ass. And by the way, how's that feel? You sell out the entire country. You destroy the fucking internet. One agency in the government destroys the internet. And then I go lay on a fucking beach somewhere and play golf with other rich douchebags until the day I die. And your name in the history books will be forever tied to the wrong side of history and being a terrible human being and a selfish prick who cared more about your own bank account than the well-being of the entire internet for the goddamn country. Shame on you.